a little history about Silicon Valley Pride and how we came to be. We started in 1975 as a march down Stockton Street here in San Jose. And, it developed in, I think, 1977 into a pride celebration and a parade. Back then, it was known as San Jose Pride. For the longest time, you could see us on Stockton Street. And then I believe we moved to Discovery Meadow back in the day, long years ago. And then there was a little bit hiatus that happened with the overturning in leadership and different budgetary constraints that we had. And in 2014, the then CEO Thaddeus Campbell rebranded San Jose Pride to be Silicon Valley Pride, to be more inclusive of the surrounding South Bay area. Geographically, and then also he had a vision to bring inclusion back to our festival. And I think if you've been around Pride celebrations, historically, I would have to say that, Pride was geared for the longest time towards cisgendered white males, gay males. And when Thaddeus had a vision of this inclusion, he wanted to really branch out into our community. Something that I find really unique about the LGBTQ plus community, something that I love, is that we don't encompass just one skin color. We are not just one nationality, one origin, one ability. We encompass everything. So Thaddeus really made a conscious effort to bring diversity to our festival when we rebranded. Since then, we developed Hey Girl. As part of the inclusion. I think Liz came in and said, where were all the women at Pride? Where were they? And I was like, I know, where were they? Let's bring them on. How can we diversify our event? And since then, we've hosted a variety of rallies and marches and protests and engaged in workshops and educating the community really on what it is to bring diversity in, and really just celebrating the entire beautiful spectrum of our LGBTQ plus community. And so the Hey Girl stage was born. We've had a Trans and Friends rally. We have a liberation stage now, and we've brought on a chief diversity officer into our board of directors. And that's kind of how Silicon Valley Pride, where we are growing. So I don't know, Liz, do you want to?
Well, I want to add a little piece of history that's sort of not necessarily directly related to San Jose Pride, but there used to be this tradition way back in the day, like Nicole was talking about, when the festival was down at Discovery Meadow. On Sundays, after the festival was over, all the women that were there would go over to the Savoy, which was the local bar, the one and only local bar for women.
Yeah.
And there would be an after party, and that would often be DJ'd by DJ Danny G, who worked at the Savoy for 20 plus years on Friday nights. But she would do this special event on the Sunday after Pride weekend. And so that's kind of what brought me into that board meeting that day. What can we do for the women in terms of, we've lost the Savoy closed, I forget now, it's been 10, 15 years. Yeah, so the women really have nowhere to go in San Jose. And so I thought, we need some kind of a party. We can do it once a year, can't we? And that's where Nicole picked up that little ball and said, well, yeah, we can do that and a lot more. So for me, the fact that we have a Hey Girl area in the festival with our own stage, and actually we have DJ Danny G as the MC and the DJ. For me, it's so much better and bigger than what I thought could be done. So it's been a wild ride in a way, but it's been great. It's been growing every year. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's a great ride.
Yeah, and and thinking about back when we started Hey Girl and thinking about we too had some growing to do, right? Because, you know, you think about, you know, there's lots of there's a lot more colorful pieces to our rainbow that prior to, I want to say, most recently, you know, people didn't have the ability to say, wait a second, I'm non-binary. I don't identify as just a woman. I don't identify as just a man. I identify somewhere in the middle, and that's okay. And, you know, or, you know, there's, you know, bisexuality, there's pansexuals, there's demisexuals, there's a whole spectrum that I think is new for our community too. I mean, we say it's you know, LGBTQ plus XYZ, ABC, and A2 and A3. I mean, it's the whole alphabet really, but you know, that just speaks to the nature of our community, that we encompass all. And, you know, that, you know, I really think about, you know, our theme this year, which is proudly authentic. And it makes me think about those trailblazers, the ones that came first, the ones that were down there at, you know, Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera, the two trans women of color that are thought to have started the Pride Revolution, you know, and how they had to just fight just to be who they are. You know, it wasn't even a consideration to be proudly authentic, but they persevered through that. And they continued to fight for, you know, just for tolerance. And now here we are, we're standing on their shoulders or on their backs, and we are able to stand and be proudly authentic because of the work that they laid out before us, and because of, you know, the work that they did. And so with Hey Girl, you know, we've reworked our definition, I don't know how many times, to be inclusive. Yes. And, you know, that's kind of something that, you know, I was excited to come to this group to talk about, is, you know, that type of inclusion, and how do we expand to, you know, really put forth the effort to make sure that our two-spirit siblings are feeling welcomed at the Hey Girl community, are feeling, you know, that, you know, belonging to, you know, this bigger community. You know, and I think there needs to be a conscious effort when inviting individuals to come and really participate and be, you know, in community with us. So, I mean, I don't know, do you have anything?
Well, I would add that the fight continues.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, as far as we've come, there's a long way to go. We, you know, as women, as LGBTQ community, I mean, the state of the land lately is a little distressing with this recent Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. And so the fight continues. And actually the Hey Girl Parade contingent this year is going to be kind of it's celebratory, but yet it's also a protest against the recent Supreme Court decision. And I hope that people will come out to see what we're doing. It's exciting, it's different. And we want our voices, we want as many voices as we can get out there marching to stand up for our rights, to continue to stand up for our rights, to fight for our rights.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And you know, that kind of goes back to the LGBTQ plus community. We encompass everybody. And so is, you know, Silicon Valley Pride is proud to stand with our marginalized groups. With, you know, if it's an attack on a right, it affects our community directly. And just because, you know, I think in California, we are lucky, especially in the Bay Area, to be afforded, you know, some, you know, body autonomy, to be afforded, you know, a welcoming of our local government to, you know, celebrate. They raise the pride flag at City Hall. The local leaders like to come out and speak at our event. They like to be in the parade, but that's not the case in, you know, across the country. And we still need to be mindful, like Liz was saying, like the fight continues. It's not time to be complacent, because these attacks on rights and our transgender siblings and, you know, body autonomy might not be affecting us directly, but you stop having that drive and that fight, and you know, next thing you know, it is going to affect you. And, that's why it's, Silicon Valley Pride is proud and Hey Girl is proud to stand with, the most marginalized parts of our community. And at the end of the day, if we are doing that, regardless, of the repercussions, sometimes I get bad press for doing what I do, but, regardless of the repercussions, I'm going to sleep well at night, as long as I stand with the most marginalized individuals that, are part of my community. So that's kind of what drives me. That's the work that I love to do. It's stressful. I've barely gotten any sleep. I'm in meetings, just, these next, week and a half is one of the busiest times of my year, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And I would not have a different right-hand person than Liz right here.
Just to make sure everybody knows what she's saying, a week and a half. Silicon Valley Pride is August 27th and 28th. Pride Week starts Monday, this coming Monday. So yes, Nicole is running around and the whole board. I mean, just running around getting all the logistics settled into place.
Yeah, and I pull Liz along. Come on, Liz. Yeah, you're gonna roll with me today. I just sign her up. But yeah, we have a week-long events. Every day of the week we have something going on next week. Starting, I think it's with a drag queen bingo. We have a drag queen cook-off. We have a Hey Girl DJ Danny G dance party, which is going to be at the Holiday Inn over here on First Street. You can find it all out on our website, svpride.com. And I think Thursday we're at the Capitol Club. Friday we host a community event at Excite Ballpark. We're going to be showing a movie, having a little entertainment. That's when our local leaders are asked to speak. Prior to my tenure as CEO, we always opened up Silicon Valley Pride with the Star Spangled Banner. Is that the national anthem? Mm-hmm. Is that what it is? Yeah. And then also had politicians speaking. But when I came on board, I wanted to change that. And Marissa's helping with the land acknowledgement, which I'm grateful for. And really, giving the space back to our community. And it's not for showboating. It's not for those that want to say, hey, we support you. And, one day a year we need a photo op. Like, that's fun. That's great. We need that support too. But Pride, it was not born out of a need to celebrate, but it was born out of a need for somebody to live authentically. And so we want to give our celebration back to our community. We want to make sure that our community feels welcomed. And so that's what we're doing. I'm excited. I love it.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Sharing. And then I just want to add one thing. And I'm also Marissa here, Indian Health Center fitness coordinator and also Two Spirit Group co-founder. I'm also very excited for this year's Silicon Valley Pride because this is the first year that powwow dancers will be featured on Silicon Valley's main stage. And that's, thanks to the wonderful efforts of Nicole, Liz, and Brian for reaching out to the Indian Health Center for a land acknowledgement, because this is not just San Jose. Prior, this was land to the Muwekma Ohlone and still is. So we're going to be sharing a little bit about how the land's changed ownership or hands over the years. And then just a little bit more information about the tribe, as well as the Two Spirit commencement opening ceremony. So just talking a little bit about what Two Spirit is, what Two Spirit means. So if you have more questions about what Two Spirit energy is, you can check us out at Silicon Valley Pride. We'll be doing the commencement after the parade. So it should be around, I think, 11.
I think it'd be closer to 12.
Closer to 12. Yeah. Somewhere around there. We're running on native time. That's fine. And that'll be on Sunday, August 28th. So I hope to see you all there. And I'm going to go ahead and end the recording.